Morning everybody, and after all the illnesses, injuries and bad weather since Christmas, me and Lynn are in top fettle, aren't we, Lynn?
Yeah.
And we're back out on the road. And today, where are we, Lynn?
We're in the tiny hamlet of Aston Sandford.
Which is about 7 miles from where we live in Aylesbury, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, apparently, according to the website, the church is 13th century, but was remodelled in the 1870s. There are only the church, the manor, and 10 cottages in this village, and a letterbox, apparently. There's only 50 people in the congregation. They have a wedding or a baptism about one every 2 years, and maybe 2 funerals a year, and it's open one Sunday a month. Now today, unfortunately, it's all locked up. It looks like a beautiful little place, doesn't it?
Oh, it looks very pretty.
We really would have liked to get in. I've actually rang the church warden, but there wasn't a voicemail, and he doesn't seem to be available. So unfortunately, we can't get in. But we are here, of course, for the ghosts. Anyway, it is arguably the smallest village in the country, but it is definitely the smallest church with a ghost story. So today we're going to have a quick look round, and as we look round, we're going to tell you the story of the Aston Sandford ghost. Isn't that right, Lynn?
Yeah, that's right.
And it's a nice morning. It's the first nice morning we've had at a weekend for a long time. So let me take a few videos and I'll tell you the story of what goes on here. All right, see you in a bit. So here I am, looking up and down the one road that leads into and out of this lovely little hamlet cul-de-sac of Aston Sandford. And now I'm going to walk through this gateway to the fantastic little church of St Michael and All Angels to tell you the ghost story of a rather remarkable rector of this church. But this is a much too beautiful morning for a spooky ghost story. So first, let me set the scene. The Reverend Thomas Scott had already become a strong religious force by 1803 when he became the rector of Aston Sandford. After the publication of his autobiography, The Force of Truth, an authoritative narrative, published in 1779 while curate of Ravenstone and Western Underwood, where he described himself as a man in an awful state of mind, with little regard for his holy orders, and calling himself a dangerous heretic, with a strong dislike for prayer, but an enjoyment of sin and a serious neglect of his parishioners. After a prick of conscience where he locked himself away with his Bible and a few other religious works in his study, he found a new passion for his spirituality, and when he became rector of Aston Sandford in 1803, he brought 18 years of energy, commitment and deep evangelical passion to this small village and tiny church. That on his death in 1821, he was buried under the altar in this church, since when he has been reportedly seen at least a dozen times as an apparition beside the pulpit at evensong. Now this is another ghost story concerning this church that I found in the new great Eddie Brazil book, Paranormal, Buckinghamshire. Along with David Kidd-Hewitt, Eddie is one of my 2 favourite local historians. This is a story that happened between October 1996 and March 1997, when a young female commercial artist took a short let-out in one of the cottages in the village to work from. And after a day's painting, she would go for a stroll up to the Aylesbury Road. As she passed by the church, she often had tried the door to have a look inside, but it was always locked. Then on one cold November afternoon, as it was approaching dusk, she was pleased to see the vicar standing by the south door. She decided that on the return from her walk, she would go over and take a look inside. Yet when she returned, she found the church in darkness and all looked up with no sign of the vicar. Assuming he must have finished his business early and gone home, she went back to her cottage. On several more occasions, she again saw the vicar, but when she returned from her walk to look inside the building, he was nowhere to be seen, and the church was locked and in darkness. Now, why she didn't go and see the vicar when she saw him and postpone her walk, I have no idea, but eventually this is what she decided to do. So a few days later, setting out on her usual afternoon walk, she saw the vicar by the south door again. So she started up the path through the graveyard to the church when something distracted her for a split second. When she returned her gaze, the figure had gone. She tried the church door, it was locked and in darkness. She suddenly felt icy cold and unnerved as the realisation of what she had seen kicked in. She hurried back to the church path, but with the horrible sensation that someone was walking quickly behind her. Was this too the ghost of Reverend Scott? Well, did you enjoy that then, Lynn?
I certainly did, yeah. Beautiful day, beautiful little church.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place. I mean, the place is so tiny. You know, the actual Hamlet, so when we just parked up, there's nobody about.
Very tranquil.
It's lovely, sat under this tree, isn't it?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I've explored around the whole of the church. The story that I would have told you about the south door, I can't quite get my head around that, because from the main road, I'm presuming the south door is the one at the back, you can't see the south door from the road. So I'm not quite sure about that.
No.
Anyway, I've been around, I've done a nice tour of the place. It's beautiful, took some lovely pictures.
Yeah.
You know, as by now you've listened to the story, but really interesting story, really interesting man, I think you'll agree. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed our little first one since Christmas, the first time we've been out. It's a lovely day, and it was nice for the drive. It's only 7 miles away from Aylesbury, so not a long drive. And I wish we'd brought some sandwiches.
Yes, we could have
sat on this bench under the tree and had a flask of coffee and some sandwiches, and it's really nice. But I would love to get inside. As I say, I will find out more if I can get in touch with the church warden and ask him if it's okay if one day we come in and have a look round, because I want to see the altar, of course, because that's a main part of the story. But anyway, hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do the usual thing. If you could possibly give it a like, because the thumbs up really do work, gets out to more people out there. And also, if you aren't already subscribed, if you could, and ding the little bell so that you can get further notifications of other episodes, that would be fantastic. Now we've got the taste for it again, Lynn. We've got our mojo back after all our injuries and everything, and everything. We will be back doing regularly. So hope to see you then. So anyway, enjoy the rest of the weekend. So from me and from Lynn.
Yeah. Bye for now.
Bye for now. See you soon. Bye bye.